If you saw the film Don't Look Up, if you saw the film Don't Look Up, you know that a big part of that film, which David Sirota co-wrote, was that essentially there is a huge apocalyptic end of the planet destroying asteroid coming, and the media just doesn't care.
I'm sorry, are we not being clear? We're trying to tell you that the entire planet is about to be destroyed.
Okay.
Well, it's, just something we do around here. We just keep the bad news light.
Right, it helps the medicine go down.
They will only cover it if they could find a way to make it clicky. They would rather cover celebrity and conflict than, I don't know, that minor story that planet Earth was going to end in 6 months. Well, there was actually a real life example of this over in Great Britain, the UK. Watch this clip. It is so cringe. And we'll talk about it on the flip side.
I mean, I would say I don't think any of us want to be disrupting people's lives, but I think given the science and the things that academics are saying about what oil is causing around the world, and in this country too, this is the level of action that needs to be taken when our government is failing on their energy policies and their climate pledges.
But you'd accept, wouldn't you, that it's a very complicated discussion to be had. It's a very complicated thing. And this Just Stop Oil slogan is very playgroundish, isn't it? It's very Vicky Pollard. It's quite childish. Just stop oil. I mean, come on, there's more to say than that, isn't there?
I would say that the answers are actually very simple. We need to stop new oil licensing, and that's what we're asking. With the oil reserves that we have now and the oil fields that we have that are still going, that would provide us with 8 years of oil if we said no to new oil, and that's what we're asking for.
But how do the blockades advance that argument? They don't, do they? They simply cause nothing but disruption, and you get a negative reaction. I've got to tell you, we were expecting to get some messages of support from our viewers for you. Mm. We haven't had one, not one. We've had nothing but furious complaints from people. Nothing positive at all.
I wonder if any of you have read the latest IPCC reports that have come out this year. Yeah. What they have said is that we are on the road for climate catastrophe. We are on the road for 3 degrees of warming. This will happen to my generation, to your children's generation, potentially to your grandchildren. And I think we have a moral responsibility to act now. We're supposed to be climate leaders. We're geopolitical leaders. We could set the way for the whole planet by committing to stopping oil, moving to energy efficiency, moving to renewables, moving to insulation. And I think the children and the future deserve at least that.
Literally. They have this climate activist on, right? To talk about, I don't know, the new IPCC report that further shows we are literally on the brink of planetary inferno. And they are basically saying, tisk tisk, little wrist slap. Yeah, it's a complicated issue, the whole global warming thing, the whole man-made, corporate greed created planetary destruction, the climate inferno. It's a complicated issue. Wouldn't you say that, ma'am? And by the way, you might have something to this and it's complicated, but you're being very disruptive trying to save the planet. These blockades and things are hurting us wealthy folk and disrupting over in the UK people who don't like traffic. Literally, you could not write that up better, because that is almost a knockoff of scenes from Don't Look Up. I guarantee you none of those anchors, and by the way, you could replace this with the United States because it would be a similar thing on Morning Joe. None of those anchors probably read or even heard about the IPCC report. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that they have this woman on, supposedly because they care about the climate crisis, and basically from the jump are attacking her. And then, ma'am, I know that there's protests happening all over the world. The climate activists are chaining themselves to building, et cetera, et cetera. But, none of our viewers who we don't actually provide this information to, none of our viewers who we just push propaganda all day, they wrote in and they didn't care. So our sample size of viewers, none of them supported you because we are conservative hacks. We are elitist scum. I don't know if you like my UK accent. And our viewers don't support you. That means there's really not much of a movement or momentum for this whole climate thing. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. But I want to show you also, I need to work on my British accent. You're probably right. I want to also show you, and I did an interview with a West Virginia activist that we put up on the website, put up on the channel over the weekend. Go check that out too. We actually have similar in America. Do you know that hundreds of activists blockaded Joel Manchin's coal company this weekend? Hundreds of activists, many of whom got arrested, did a blockade around Joe Manchin's coal company. Did any of you see a lot of coverage of that in CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, anywhere other than like a headline? Did you see mainstream media outlets out there interviewing the activists? Let's show some of it.
Stand up, fight back! Then what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When our community is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! Then what do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! When West Virginia is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! Make some noise,
And Colin, if you have a few of the images too, I sent you with workers getting arrested. Activists getting arrested. There you go. Cops pulling out those activists, arresting them. So this is going on here again for what should be the biggest story everywhere, because I mean, experts, the IPC have basically told us we're beyond the turning point now. If we don't radically change things, getting off fossil fuels, the planet is screwed. And in Great Britain, they're attacking activists on set for, I don't know, disruption with blockades. Well, it's going to be kind of disruptive when there's fires all around your homes, or your homes are underwater, and we have millions and millions of global climate refugees. That might be a little bit more disruptive, my British lad. It's absurd. Absurd. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in to Status Coup's daily live stream Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time and Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.